Oh, hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Amesie's Corner. How are you all doing out there? So today, I want to talk about the good old gas axe, the heat wrench here. Something that we just can't live without up here in New England working on cars. We get a lot of rust, we put a lot of salt on our roads, and there are a lot of nuts and bolts that need the heat to remove them. And for years and years and years, this was the go-to tool to heat up nuts and bolts to get them off. Now, what you're doing is you're exciting the molecules in the metal to the point that they're moving so fast that they can no longer be seized on because they're hot and loose, and everything that you heat up nice and hot comes right off with the torches. The trouble is the torches, they're not the easiest thing to set up. They're not the easiest thing to use. They aren't by far they aren't the safest thing in the toolbox. They aren't the safest tool to get frozen bolts off. You got to kind of know what you're doing to be safe with them. You got to know what you're doing to heat them up, to get the torch working to the heat you need. And then when you get in there, you got a lot of collateral flame that can get in and melt other components. You can have CV shaft boots you're torching around suspension parts. You get the tires here. This puts a lot of heat out of it, and it will just melt rubber out. So yeah, there's a lot of businesses that aren't even allowed to use these, a lot of the tire shops. I'm not going to name any of them, but you guys know who we use. Their insurance doesn't allow them to use a set of oxyacetylene torches, and we'll send a vehicle down to get aligned, to subcontract the alignment, because we don't do alignments here. It takes a lot of space for an alignment rack, and we're not that committed to doing it. So we'll subcontract our alignment. But the trouble is, if a suspension component, an adjustable piece like these adjustable lower control arm mounts on the rear of this Toyota here are frozen up, they'll send it back saying we can't get the nuts loose and we can't adjust it. So we'll have to take out our trusty torches, the gas axe, heat up the nut and get it loose and send it back down there. But for as far as I can remember, for pretty much ever, this is how you would heat up a bolt to loosen it. But a few years ago, they came up with a new tool, and I think I want to show it to you guys, and maybe we'll get these nuts loosened up with it. So let me get you guys on the head cam, and let's take a look at some new technology, shall we? Well, and here we are, the answer to the torches, the 21st century replacement to the torches, the Bolt Buster, high-power Bolt Buster heat induction tool. Basically what this is a giant, very fast-switching handheld electromagnet. And in principle of operation is similar to how a microwave works, in that it uses some sort of energy to heat the atoms at an atomic level and make them just shake against each other. And what this does is uses, like I said, fast switching electromagnetism to just make the ferrous molecules in the steel just rub against each other and make heat. Like a microwave, except a microwave uses microwaves to do it, and the microwaves make the water molecules heat up in a microwave. This does it by using electromagnetism, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's get this thing open and see what we got in the box. The price of this is somewhere around $500 for your average kit. This one has a lot in it, so it might be a little more. And it's pretty much brand new. We've just taken a quick look at it, haven't really used it. I'll get into why in a second. First thing we get is the obligatory instruction manual, warranty card, a decal for the decal wall somewhere, maybe not. Repair, some warranty information. And we'll go to the glossy one first. Bolt Buster BB2X high power heat induction tool. If it's rusted, it's busted. That's pretty true. 1800 watts. Not really a ton of watts as far as watts go. I figured it might take a little more. If anybody wants to read everything here, this is kind of what it's all about and all that. Yeah, pretty much what it is. Comes with a couple new cool attachments. So yeah, let's take a look. We got the instruction manual. Not very thick, not a lot of pages. This probably does a couple different languages too, I'd imagine. But yeah, pretty much principles of operation, just a little bit of what we touched on. Electromagnetism fluctuates the magnetic field and makes eddy currents of electrons that heat up, and yeah. Use the Bolt Buster as you would a torch to heat metal parts or to free frozen parts. Minimize damage, just like we were saying. Not much to really go on the instruction booklet. Read Me First kind of gives you a little bit of tips and tricks on how it works and what it doesn't work on and when you should stop using it. And yeah, if you guys want to stop and read all of that, go right ahead. And so for the tool itself, I see a lot of attachments here. We'll start off with this one here. This is kind of a pad that, as far as I can tell, vinyl and side molding removal tool. And it looks like they got you use it to heat up the fender behind an emblem so you can pull an emblem off. That's pretty cool. Could have used that the other day. That's what that's for. So putting heat past something that isn't conductive to heat the metal behind it. Pretty cool. Now it comes with these a lot of different sized of these winding pieces, and these are actually the, for a better term, I believe we'd call them electrodes maybe, or inductive coils. I think inductive coils is what we'll call those. And they come with different sizes to fit whatever different hardware you're trying to heat up, from small to large. Looks like it comes with one you can wrap around stuff. I'm not really going to wrap it around my finger, but I guess you would wrap this around like a tie rod or something. I think that's what they show it being used in here. Yeah, right there. You wrap that around. So just some more of those. Some other different size pickups. Look like they got a little shorter, a little bit shorter to get into tighter spots. Yeah, I wonder what that one is. Interesting. Interesting. And then this one here, I guess, is to direct heat. I guess this will direct heat one way, or rather electromagnetism one way or the other. But for today, we'll just stick with using maybe just one of these coils. So the tool itself, it almost looks like someone made it out of leftovers from a potato gun, if I had to say. Not a lot here. There's some thumb screws in the top to hold the inductive leads, and then one red button. So I guess they don't need a very long instruction manual if you only got 2 screws and a button. Couple read owner's manual. No pacemakers. Electromagnet in use. Safety glasses. Gloves. Don't use near flammable stuff. Do not touch electrodes or attachment. Do not wear any metallic objects. Interesting. So looking down inside, I hope you guys can see, it's not really a ton going on in there. I guess that's probably to keep the coolant air going through it so it doesn't overheat on you. I see a lot of windings in there. Well, anyways, why don't we get this thing set up and compare it to the torches? Like I said, I think we'll use this. I'm going to loosen the thumb screws a little. I believe that's all the setup there really is. One other little thing I want to add about this tool, and anything that uses a lot of power, it doesn't come with a long cord, which can be kind of a hindrance because you need to get this into the vehicle. So they do mention in the instructions that you can use an extension cord, but it has to be a fairly short and fairly beefy cord. So I guess anything you would use for like an air conditioner would be adequate. Like an air conditioner cord, maybe a 6-foot, 12 wire gauge or something. We don't need to get into that. So why don't we get this thing back and plug this thing in and see just how well it compares to an actual oxyacetylene torch. Well, okay guys, we got a little setup here. The bolts we're trying to loosen are these toe adjusting bolts right here. The nuts are frozen up. The bolts are supposed to move, but you can't get the bolts to move unless the nuts are loose. So we got these on both sides, and they are indeed not going to come off with conventional means. Now, I could just put a wrench or a ratchet with a long extent, a lot of leverage on it, or a bigger tool. But what I would do is I would just snap that bolt off, and then, you got to order new bolts. You can't just go to the hardware store and get these adjuster bolts. So they aren't going to come off without a little bit of heat. So, well, first off, we'll get the torches on this one, and we'll see just how it works. So I got the torches set and working, and we'll just real carefully. Now, like I said, there's a lot of heat going pretty far from this tool, so anything behind that's rubber or flammable or any kind of oil or anything will be lit right up with this. So we got to keep in mind where we're pointing the heat And then with this tool, you could cut the, I could melt the nut right off of there and ruin the thing and cause a problem. So you got to really be careful how you apply heat, where you apply the heat, how long you're in one spot for. I mean, if we were just going to cut this off, I'd hit the oxygen lever there and I could just blast that bolt off. But then the adjuster is going to be junk after that. So as you can see, I can only heat half of this up. And if I try to aim the torch the other way, we're going to be blasting right into the sidewall of that wheel. So we don't need it real hot for this to work. Just hot is hot. Just a little more. Now you can see you get a nice little glow there. And now, with any luck, and as you can see, the heat loosened that right up for me, took it right off, not a problem. If I had tried any more than my 3/8 snap-on micro-lithium gun, then I would have just snapped that right off. So, torches work great. Now, let's see how hot that is, even though I've got my snap-on diagnostic thermal imager here, really cool tool. And let's see how hot we got that. The scanner showing white hot. Oh, we're about 750 degrees on the hottest spot, 850 degrees, look at that. So yeah, it gets it really hot. That's actually probably twice as hot as we really needed to get it, but it's just the way you kind of do with the torches. So why don't we get this, get the inductor here, the bolt buster. As you can see, I said you want to use a nice thick, shortest cord you can use, and I have a nice air conditioner cord. Hopefully you guys can see everything. So let's get this on the other side here. All right, and like they said in the instructions, you want the coil to be bigger than the nut. I probably might want to go with one size smaller, but I think the coils won't fit as well as this one. You don't really want it to touch the nut because you can burn it there. So I can hear a fan in it going. Let's see how long it takes. See some smoke. I can see the smoke coming off of it. Pretty quick. That's got to at least be 200, 300 degrees by now. And there's no flame anywhere. I don't have to worry about heating anything around it because the heat's just going right to the nut. You know, I don't have to worry about torching that sidewall or anything. And I think you're only supposed to use this 30 seconds. I think we're just about at 30 seconds. I might go a little longer because this coil's a little larger than we really should be using. Boy, it's getting hot, huh? And I'm seeing it glow red. How about that? How cool is that? Now let's I like it. I really like that. Let's get the thermal imager on it and see where we are. 850 degrees, guys. That is exactly where we were with the torches. And that took a lot quicker too. What'd the torches take? About a minute of heating, maybe a little less, and that took what, 40 seconds? Nice, guys, nice. I like it. I really like that. What a cool little tool. Boy, I think I just found my new favorite tool, guys. That worked really, really well. Awesome. Well, guys, I am impressed. I think I found my new favorite heating tool, my new favorite heat applicating tool. Yeah, let's talk about price. So, about $500, you can get a kit, a comparable kit, if not this kit here, of this technology. You know, about $500. Compare that to the torches. No, you got to buy the adapters. You got to buy the hoses, the torch itself, the regulators. You got to buy those. Probably about, you could probably get a cheap set for about $2.50, and then you got to go find some place that you can get these bottles. You don't actually buy these bottles, you kind of rent them, you pay a deposit on them, and then they swap them out. You got to have a place nearby you to get this stuff. And you know, it probably comes out when all is said and done at the end of the day, with the cart to hold it, the torches and the regulators, the lines, and everything you need, the strikers and flints, the torch cleaning tips and everything out, probably comes pretty close to $500 to get a set that'll do what this does. So as far as price points, they're both about the same. Now, one thing that the torch will do that this will never do is, like I was saying, if I kept going and heating that nut up and hit it with the oxygen, I could have cut that right off. So you can cut metal with this. You can cut very, very thick metal with a torch like this. Pretty much with what you got for the torch itself, with a tip on it, you can cut pretty much unlimited thickness of metal. That's how, if you look at these lifts, actually, that's how all this flat steel, if you look real close, these would have all been cut with a torch set. So you can get really good straight cuts with a torch, but you can't get cuts. There's no way this is going to cut. This just makes heat. So the torches have that going for them, but anybody can use this. You saw how easy that was to just hold it over the nut, push a button till it's hot, and you're done. You know, the torches, you got to know how to set each regulator. About 5 pounds on the acetylene, about 15 pounds or so or more, you know, on the oxygen. These gauges, don't read them. They've been hit so many times, they aren't really reliable. You use torches enough, you can do it by the sound. You got to know how to light them, how to use them. You've also got to shut these off. If you forget to shut these off, they'll leak out and you can lose all your gas. Also, the danger of leaking acetylene, you could, you know, create a really, really hazardous situation. The dangers with this seem to be just don't touch the stuff you heat up. Don't wear, you know, maybe if you got a pacemaker, don't use it. But if you have a pacemaker, you probably shouldn't be wrenching on stuff that needs to be heated up to take off. Yeah, no collateral damage. We're not going to fry a CV boot using this near drive shafts. You're not going to fry a ball joint boot just with the heat flying off. You're not going to, you know, have any flames or fire up when you're trying to use the torch. That's something, like I said, you've always got to be worried about where that flame is pointing, because you got such a hot flame going. It'll light rubber up almost instantly. If you got a lot of oil, it'll light that up. I'm sure that is kind of a problem with this. You know, if you got gasoline and you got a night red hot near the leaking gas tank, that is obviously going to be a hazardous. But yeah, anybody really could use this. It's not like it's dangerous or anything, and you know, you need special training to use that. So anyways, guys, yeah, I think I found my new favorite heat tool. Let me know if this was helpful for you guys, if you thought this interesting, if maybe I missed something about these tools. I didn't really do a lot of research. I kind of wanted to go into this, just open the box and see if we could use it to do something that the torches would do, and it worked great. Well, anyways, guys, I got to get going. I got some more work to do on this car. We got to get this back for its alignment. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comments down below, I love them all. Questions down there. Check out the Facebook group. That's doing really well. And on that note, and until next time, guys, keep it out of the cabbage.